What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for July 4th, 2023. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. It is Tuesday. It's also the 4th of July. So happy 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. Going to slightly revisit something we did back when we first started the Tuesday motivation / positivity, when we all seemed to come together when Damar Hamlin had his cardiac episode on the field during the Buffalo game, and just say on 4th of July, and we need to be better, just better as people, better as a country. Listen, we're not the perfect country. From top to bottom, we have areas of which we can grow. But I think the one thing that will help just us all get better as a country and better as people is just be more open and listen. I think the fact that you can't really have a differing opinion anymore without somebody telling you how evil you are and you're a horrible person, this, that, and the other. Let's just be better than that. Just take a minute, listen, celebrate the differences, celebrate the fact that, hey, we don't all have to believe the same thing, and we shouldn't. And we live in a country where we're able to believe different things. So on 4th of July, just kind of think about that. Do your best to try to understand someone who's different than you, celebrate their differences, and just be more open. Everybody wants to talk. Nobody wants to listen. Just listen to your neighbor. Listen to the people in your community who are different than you. Maybe have a better understanding of them and not be so angry and hateful toward them. So that is my ask of you on the 4th of July, is to just listen and be respectful and try to learn something about your neighbor. All right, let's get into today's episode. Lots going on today, so let's get right into it. Phillies are in Tampa Bay this week. Good measuring stick. Love to see them take 2 out of 3, but Tampa Bay is the best team right now, other than the Braves in the major leagues. So let's see how that goes. Flyers update. They signed veteran Mark Stahl to a 1-year deal. He has experience playing under Tortorella. He just was in the Stanley Cup last year with Florida. He adds a veteran presence for some of these young guys. It was kind of Danny Barrera said he was shocked that they were able to sign him, but I think this is a good no-risk signing, and will help provide some of that leadership for the guys in the locker room. Sixers update. I'm going to miss Bang Bang George Niang, but he's going to the Cavs. I did see that apparently now Maxey is untouchable in any trade. So that's your daily as the Harden turns update. Tyrese Maxey will not be involved in any trades. At least this is what the reports are. Who knows? He could, but we'll see. And it does seem that both sides, Harden and the Sixers, are willing to just kind of let him sit. The Sixers aren't going to do anything dumb to hurt their team. Knock on wood. Hopefully that stays that way. But I like it. I mean, and unintentionally, I saw an article. I forget who read. I think it was from the Inquirer. Basically, the article was saying the same thing I've been saying here. Like, if he does sit out, that's probably even an added bonus, because now you're getting the unintentional tank, and hopefully maybe getting a new draft pick. So Sixers are in a good spot with that. Let's see how it plays out. Maybe they can actually trade Tobias if Harden's going to sit out and really get that unintentional tank. But more updates as they come on as the Harden turns, though. Quick Eagles thing. This story is never ending. Now the NFL is blaming the Chiefs and Eagles players for the field being so slippery, saying that they didn't wear the right cleats. I read an article, if you're interested in it, I think it was from Yahoo Sports, and basically just debunked this whole thing. But that's the NFL stance, and I'm not shocked that the NFL is saying, hey, we didn't do anything wrong. But more, again, hopefully we can get into more football stories and get over the field in the Super Bowl that happened in February that we're all over. But it just seems like stories for this keeps resurfacing and resurfacing. All right. So today we're going to go back to 1979, and it was not the best of days for the Phillies. Despite beating the Mets 1-0, Steve Carlton pitched a complete game. He had one hit. He gave up a double to Elliott Maddox in the seventh. Retired his first 19 batters. Really was struggling coming into the game, but did some tweaks I read, and this was the result. Almost threw a perfect game. No hitter. But the rest of the starting pitching staff for the Phillies did not have such great news. Three of their starters were placed on the DL on that day. Larry Christensen had been struggling with a pulled groin that just wasn't getting better. Dick Ruthman had an elbow injury, again, that just wasn't getting better. And then Randy Lurch broke his thumb in a fight at a bar in Philly. So 3 of your 4 starters were out. And after winning 3 straight NL East titles, the Phillies did take a step back in '79. That was the year they got Pete Rose. They would eventually in 1979 get as close as 2 games back. I think I was in about July, but they just kind of faltered down the stretch. They ended up going 84-78, 14 games back, 4th place in the NL East. The Pirates won it that year, but help was on the way. The next year, I shouldn't say help was there with Pete Rose, but the next year, obviously, they went and won the World Series. But on this day, Steve Carlton almost pitched a perfect game, giving up the double in the 7th to break that up in a 1-0 Phillies win over the Mets. But the news was bad for the starters. Christensen, Ruthman, and Lurch all on the DL for various injuries. Lurch, the most annoying because he broke his hand in a bar fight. All right. Want to celebrate the Phillies? Want to celebrate the Sixers, Flyers, Union, Eagles, whatever team you want to celebrate. Go do some 4th of July shopping. It looks cloudy and overcast like it's going to rain. Go to phillygoat.com. Use that promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off of your order. Anything on their site. Just high quality stuff. Make sure it has the authentic goat on the sleeve. They have kid sizes. You can choose any color you want. So red, white, and blue is not your thing. Green, orange, and yellow, you can do that. phillygoat.com. You won't be disappointed. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off of your order. All right. It is time for today's matchup in the Philly Sports Lovable Loser Tournament. But before we move on, what a game. This tournament 3 days in, and the games have all been great. Yesterday's matchup in the Phillies Regional was the 93 team, the number 2 seed, versus the 2011 seed, the 7 seed, the 2011 team, I should say. So, I did not give the What If Sports matchup yesterday. I completely forgot. That literally went 5-5. They played at the Astrodome. Alternated who was the home team. They went 5-5. I played one last game for like the tiebreaker. The 2011 team won. So then I turned it over to you guys, and the vote came in split 50-50. The 93 team got off to a hot start. The 2011 team battled back with the votes and had a slim lead when I went to bed last night. I woke up. It was tied. So the only way I could decide to do the tiebreaker was to do a 7-game series on What If Sports where each team played at their home stadium. So the 93 team was the higher seed. They had the home field advantage at the Vet. 2011 played at Citizens Bank Park. And again, I rotated through the pitching staffs and in a very, very competitive series. These 2 teams were evenly matched. It went 3-3. It was 3-3 going into Game 7. Every single game, the first 6 games, the away team won. So if everything held true in Game 7, it would have been the same thing. But the 93 team won easily. Excuse me. I'm not sure if it's allergies, I'm getting sick, or what, but I apologize for that. But in Game 7, the 93 team won 5-2 to win that series. So the 93 Phillies are moving on to the second round. But what a battle that was all day. I was going back and forth. It's fun for me to see where the votes are coming in from and just seeing who's voting for what. But, man, what a series. The 93 team just like they were in real life. The scrappy team pulled it out against probably the better team on paper, but good series. Moving on. All right, so it's time for our first game in the Sixers regional, and today we're going to go with a very, very big fan favorite. The number 3 seed, the 2000-2001 team, is taking on the number 6 seed, the 1985-86 team. So remember that 2000-2001 Sixers team, 56-26, number 1 seed overall. AI was the MVP, just completely captivated the region. They got over the hump, finally beat the Pacers, and they had 2 epic series against the Raptors and Bucks to get to the NBA Finals. They stole game 1 against the Lakers, and it was just insanity. It was such a fun experience to be a part of. They had the Coach of the Year, the MVP, the Defensive Player of the Year, and the Sixth Man of the Year. We all know and love that team. All right. The 85-86 team, they went 54-28. They were the 3rd seed behind the Bucks and Boston. They beat the Bullets in the first round, but they did so without Moses Malone, who had the orbital fracture. And then they went 7 games against the Bucks, who they had beaten in 81, 82, 83, and 85. So we talked about this before. The Bucks finally got their revenge, but a young Charles Barkley stepped up and really became a star, minus Moses Malone. So he was all NBA second team that year. Mo Cheeks was all defensive first team. And going into that, at the end of this season, hopes were high because they had Moses. They had the number 1 pick going in. Barkley was coming on. You had an aging Dr. J, but things were looking pretty good. And then we've talked about it. Go check out the Back to the Future episode where we discussed the 86 offseason. This was really the end of that Sixers era, the 85-86 team, because after that, Moses left, Bobby Jones retired, Andrew Toney just never got right. Like we said, that offseason was a mess, but this isn't about the offseason. This is about that 85-86 team who, had Moses Malone been there, were poised to make another deep run. All right, so I did the What If Sports with this, and again, this is a very evenly matched, and one of the stars throughout all of the games was Dikembe Mutombo. Iverson got his, Barkley did his thing, but it came down to the matchup between Moses and Dikembe Mutombo. So this one went, after 10 games, it was 5-5, and then I did one more game on a neutral court. We were playing at MSG for this one. But the 2000-2001 Sixers won the tiebreaker game to slightly take this on What If Sports. But now it's up to you. You guys vote who wins, the 2000-2001 Sixers or the 85-86 Sixers. Make sure you take into account how they captivated the region, disappointment level that they didn't win, and just all of those other intangibles. Who wins on paper? It seems like they're very evenly matched for a 3-6 matchup. So go vote wherever you get the podcast. Go to my social media, Twitter and TikTok, Jimbo_Mont. Instagram, Philly Jimbo. My Facebook. Leave a comment on YouTube. And again, I know there's more people listening than are voting. So go, make sure you vote, and maybe your vote can make a difference. But be safe out there. Hopefully the Phillies can show me something against the Rays, against a very good quality team. They've been beating up on some of the not so good teams. So let me see where they are with a measuring stick game. But be safe, and remember, on 4th of July, at least start it today and see what happens. But try more listening. Try to be more understanding. Learn something about your neighbor, and don't be so quick to judge and get angry, and listen instead of talking more. Be safe. Don't do anything stupid. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. I'm Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Tuesday, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.